Walter White, a high school chemistry teacher, learns he has terminal lung cancer. Desperate to secure the financial future of his family, his wife Skylar White is pregnant, his son Walter White Jr. has cerebral palsy. The 50-year-old leaves his second job at the car wash and teams up with a former student named Jesse Pinkman to make and sell meth. "You know the business. I know the chemistry," he tells his new partner, who declares Walt a damn artist, after sampling the first batch cooked in their mobile drug lab.
Jesse takes said sample to Crazy 8, cousin to Jesse's recently busted drug-dealing partner Emilio Koyama. Emilio, out on bail and convinced Jesse ratted him out, sets up a double cross. When a desert rendezvous with all four turns nasty, Walt creates a chemical explosion that leaves Emilio dead and Crazy 8 struggling to survive.
Crazy 8 escapes only to have Walt recapture him, then lock him to a pole in Jesse's basement. Jesse and Walt then flip a coin to determine who'll dissolve Emilio's body in acid, Jesse's job, and who'll kill Crazy 8, Walt's job. Skylar, meanwhile, uses *69 to trace a suspicious call from Jesse. When Skylar asks who the caller was, Walt says that Jesse is his pot dealer. Skylar visits Jesse to tell him to stop selling her husband marijuana. After she leaves, Jesse gets to work on disincorporating Emilio's body. Because he ignores Walt's specific instructions to use a polyethylene plastic container, opting instead to pour hydrofluoric acid on Emilio in the bathtub, the acid completely eats through the tub, which collapses to the floor below, leaving Walt and Jesse with a bloody mess to clean up. At Walt's house, Skylar poses vague questions about marijuana to her sister Marie Schrader, who jumps to the conclusion that they're discussing Walter Jr., despite Skylar's denials. Shortly thereafter, Marie persuades her husband, Hank Schrader, a D agent, to scare the boy straight. Marie is breaking the law herself, however, having stolen a pair of shoes from a store where she felt the sales clerk was ignoring her. In another part of town, Jesse bolts from his house after Walt berates him for divulging personal information to Crazy 8. Walt says they have more work to do, but Jesse begs to differ. "Coin flip is sacred. Your job is waiting for you in the basement." A heart-to-heart with Walt leaves Crazy 8 self-assured that Walt will spare him, but when Walt realizes Crazy 8 is conning him, he strangles the dealer. After disposing of the body, Walt gets back home and finally reveals to Skylar that he has cancer. At a family barbecue, Walt reveals his illness to Marie, Hank, and Walter Jr. Walt balks at spending $5,000 to see a renowned oncologist. Walter Jr., frustrated by his dad's lack of emotion, blurts out, "Then why don't you just fucking die already?" Walt relents, using drug profits to pay the bill. Jesse, haunted by recent events, flees to his parents' house. There, the maid discovers a joint. Jesse denies it's his, but his parents kick him out. As he leaves, his younger brother, Jake Pinkman, thanks Jesse for not telling on him.
At a birthday party at his fancy home, Elliot Schwartz, Walt's Nobel Prize-winning former colleague, offers Walt employment, saying his company provides excellent health insurance. Walt declines the offer, later accusing Skylar of putting Elliot up to it. Jesse attempts to cook meth but can't match Walt's quality. At a family powwow about Walt's cancer, Walt tells everyone, "All I have left is how I choose to approach having cancer." He chooses not to have chemo. The next morning, though, he says he'll accept treatment and Elliot's help with it. At a chemotherapy clinic, Walt tells Skylar he's taking Elliot's money, but in fact, he's using the drug-dealing profits. His chemo bills mounting, Walt reunites with Jesse and tells him that they need to sell meth in bulk. Having discovered a gas mask, labeled property of Walt's high school, in the desert, Hank inventories the storage room of Walt's chemistry lab and concludes that some meth monkey had a feeding frenzy there. Jesse finagles an interview with Tuco Salamanca, Crazy 8's badass replacement as a distributor. Tuco loves Walt's meth but refuses to pay for it up front, beating up Jesse and swiping the meth. Walt returns to face down Tuco, using the identity of Heisenberg, deceiving him with what looks like meth, but which is actually fulminated mercury that Walt uses to demolish Tuco's office. You got balls, Tuco allows, and they make a deal for more meth.
Jesse becomes outraged upon learning that Walt is doing business with Tuco. Things turn tenser still when Walt can't deliver Tuco's meth order in time. Walt talks Tuco into a loan, albeit at high interest, so that he and Jesse can procure the proper supplies.
Walt tells Skyler he's going to a sweat lodge but instead heads to Jesse's house. He congratulates Jesse for scoring the supplies, though a key chemical is missing. Jesse knows thieves who can steal it, but they want 10 grand. Walt suggests he and Jesse pinch it themselves.
Meanwhile, Skyler heads to a jewelry store to return a baby-sized diamond tiara Marie gave at her baby shower. When she approaches the owner with the gift, she is apprehended and informed it was stolen. Faking labor pains, Skyler avoids arrest and confronts Marie, who is evasive.
Walt and Jesse pull off their heist and cook in Jesse's basement. At an auto junkyard, Walt delivers the new meth to Tuco, who is ecstatic about the results. When one of Tuco's henchmen presumes to speak for him, Tuco viciously beats the guy to a pulp. Walt and Jesse look on in shock. Finishing up, Tuco laughs and tells Walt he'll see him next week.